Today we're going to design a dorm room. So I have some measurements. It's a little bit different than what you've been drawing to this point, but we want to throw in some architectural aspects. This would be a sketched design, not a true floor plan of a dorm room. So first of all, we're going to start with this overall rectangle that we have here. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my line. And notice I have this set for 12 feet, 0 inches. And everything else we've been doing is by inches. So we probably need to say, wait a minute, I need to set my units. So when I start my new drawing this time, I can do imperial of feet and inches, but I'm actually going to go to this wizard. And this wizard allows me to set up everything from the get-go. And the nice thing is with it, I don't have to go into my format and format my other units. So I'm going to go ahead and select OK. And the first thing it asks is what type of measurement do I want? We're going to be doing architectural. I'm just showing you this. I already have this set up on mine. We're not changing. We use decimal degrees for architectural drawings. We start our 0 at the east side. We go counterclockwise when we do our degrees. And then here I can set the limits of my drawing. So this is our paper, if you remember from the textbook, and we can set the size of our paper or our drawing space before we get started. So since I'm doing something fairly large, I'm going to go ahead and make this, let's see, let's do a larger size. So we'll do 28 inches by 14 inches, or actually 18 inches. And I'm going to select finish. And then all I have to do is go to my, my view and do zoom all. And now when I start my lines, you'll see how my measurements, see how we're all the way up to 1 feet. So if I scroll out, I can have a very large space. Now, do you have to set drawing limits? Not really, because your space that you draw on is infinite. But sometimes people like to have the screen set up so that when they start their drawing, if I put in 14 feet, the line might continue outside of my viewing window here. All right, so what we're going to do is once you have that set up, we're going to go ahead and choose our line command, and we're going to draw the rectangle, and we're going to not draw this door yet. So let's go ahead and start at the corner. And we have 14. I do have to put the feet symbol. Drag my cursor straight up. 12, my foot symbol. And again, I'm gonna practice that touching this, bringing back up. And then back down here. So now we have the outside border of the room. It's a 12-foot by 4-foot room. And next we're going to go ahead and draw one bed here. I only put measurements on one, and we're going to label the other one. So we're going to use the rectangle command. So you choose rectangle. And the first thing it says is specify your first point. We're just going to draw it somewhere in the middle of the room, and then we'll move it. So I'm just going to specify my first point. And now I have to specify my second point. So I need to do the shift 2 to get the @ symbol, because where I just clicked, I'm telling the computer that I want it to be a temporary 0, 0, so I can get this rectangle in with the correct measurements. So I'm going to do the @ symbol, and then I have to put in my 3 feet, and then 4, you don't have to put the inches, comma. And now I know it looks like it's making it huge. It's not, just bear with me. Now we need to do the 6.5 feet, or 6 feet 5 inches. So what I want to do is I have to do negative, because I'm going down. If I leave it positive, the bed's going to go straight up. So we want it to actually go straight down to keep it in the middle of our dorm room. So negative 6 feet 5 inches, and hit enter. And there's my bed. So I'm going to go ahead and move my bed from my corner all the way to here. Well, we know you can't have a bed up against a wall, in the wall, sort of. So we're going to move it out. So I'm going to select my move command. I'm going to select my object. Notice I can pick as many objects as I want, but I'm going to hit enter because I don't want to move anything else. And I'm going to select my corner. And now I can move it down, I can move it over. I'm actually going to do 2 moves for this one and then show you the snap from again toolbar here. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag my cursor down and type in 2 and notice it moves. And let's do it again. Choose move, select my object, hit enter, select my base point, and I'm going to use the corner of my bed. And I'm just going to drag it out to the right, type in 2 and hit enter. And that's my dynamic input, and it'll move it over 2 inches. Now we're going to use a new command called copy. So let's select copy, and let's select our bed here and hit enter. And I'm going to select the corner, and I'm just going to drag it all the way over to the other side and see where it hits that intersection point. Click once, and notice I could make a whole bunch of beds if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Okay, so we'll actually erase these. If I want to do erase, all I have to choose is the erase command, and I'm going to click once, drag my cursor down, see how everything in the blue, if it's only partially in the blue, it will not select it. It has to be all the way in the blue. And notice it says select objects. So to move to the next part of the command, I just hit enter, and you'll see they're erased. So now we're going to go ahead and move again, select our bed, hit enter. I can actually choose a base point anywhere I want, but I'm going to select the corner of my bed, drag it over to the left, just type in 2 and hit enter, and it moves it 2 inches. All right, so now let's do that again, but let's make the closet down here. So we're going to do our rectangle command. I'm actually going to choose the corner down here as my base point, and I want to draw my rectangle up here, but I still have to do my @ symbol because wherever you click, you're telling the computer, I temporarily want that to be that 0, 0. I'm going to go to the right 4 feet. So I'm going to put in my 4 feet, comma, and we're going to be moving up 2 feet. So I don't have to do a negative. It's moving up along the y-axis. So 2 feet, and there's my closet. I can do the copy command, and I'm going to select my closet here. I'm going to right click to move to the next point, and I'm actually going to specify this corner as my base point. Click your left mouse button, drag it all the way over to the left because now I can select this corner. And now I have my closet in. All right, let's go ahead and choose our desk. And I'm just going to go ahead and again choose my rectangle. I'm going to choose the corner of my bed here because see how it's aligned? And that way all I have to do is move it over, I'll say it's probably 3 inches off the bed. So I'm going to choose that corner. And this time, again, I'm doing my @ symbol. And from this point here, it was as my 0, 0, I'm going to move over to the right 3 feet, 3 inches, comma. And now we're going to be moving down into the dorm room. So negative, because we're moving down the y-axis, negative 1 foot, 10 inches. And there is my desk. I'm going to move it, select my object. I'm going to right click. And this time I'm just going to select anywhere on my screen and notice how I can move it still. You just have to be careful that you're not accidentally, selecting a endpoint or something like that, and just move it over, let's say 3 inches. And we're going to copy, and we're going to copy this desk, select enter. And again, if you forget what it wants you to do, all you have to do is read by the cursor or down at your command line. Specify our base point. We're going to choose this corner. So now see how it's attached, and that way I can choose the opposite corner and notice that it's snapping there. And if you're not able to get your snap working, you're not getting that, remember you want to go down to your object snap and choose endpoint or intersection depending on what you're trying to do. All right. Now let's go ahead and put our door in. So we're going to do this a little bit different. We want this door centered, and the opening of the door, let's measure and see what that is. Let's do a distance measurement. The opening of my door is 2 feet, 10 inches. So I'm going to use only 1/4 of a circle here. So I'm actually going to introduce using the arc, but let's start by choosing our line command. So from here to here is 2 feet, 10 inches. And for now, I'm going to use the midpoint of my dorm room wall, and then we'll move it. So I'm going to drag my cursor up, type in 2 feet 10 inches. And now I have that 2 feet 10-inch part of the door. Now let's choose our arc, and we really have to think about what we actually know. We know the center point of our arc, and we know the start point of our arc, and the end point is going to be wherever it intersects this horizontal line. So I have start, center, end. So notice the first thing is the start point. So I want to start my circle here, and then it's going to ask for your center point, and now your end point. So see how now we're going to bring our cursor down, and again, wherever it intersects. Now notice it's not choosing the intersection. What I can do, since I have my object snap toolbar, I can actually select intersection, and it'll snap to that intersection of the arc and the horizontal line. There we go. I'm going to hit escape, and let's zoom out. Now that is not centered, so I need to move it. So I'm going to select move and choose both my arc and my line. You want to make sure it chooses your line. Oops. And then hit enter. And I'm going to use my door as my base point. So now all I have to do is move it over half the distance of what it was. So it was 2 feet 10 inches. So I'm going to move it over 1 feet 5 inches. And now it's centered in my room. Now notice I have a gap here, so I'm going to show you a new modify tool, which is trim. Trim just gets rid of a portion of an arc, a circle, a line, but you have to have intersection points. You can't just have a full line and try to trim something. So since I have an intersection of the arc and this vertical line, I can select the portion or segment of the line in between, and it will get rid of that line. And I can go ahead and hit escape. The last thing is the desk chairs. I want you to go ahead and play around with just drawing a couple circles and lines and coming up with some nice desk chairs. All right, last thing to do for us is we're going to put in our text here. So I'm going to choose my text box, and you can do multi-line or single line. For now, we're just going to do, let's try single line here. So it's going to display it right on our drawing. So I'm going to select where I want my start point to be and my height. So this is nice. I can actually, however tall this line is however tall the text is going to be. So I want probably about right here. And then the next thing it asks me is my rotation angle. Well, I don't want to rotate it. I don't want it to go straight up and down or upside down. So I'm going to leave 0. So just hit enter. And then I can go start typing. So see how I have my text there. Now I want to type everything in capital letters since it is an architectural file. And I'm just doing bed. And then when I'm finished, I just click off of my bed. But notice I still have this cursor. I actually have to hit right click and enter, or just hit escape. And now you have your text here. Now, instead of doing that a second time, we want to make sure that our text is the same size. And this is only one way to put text in. We'll learn of multiple ways as we move through the semester. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy, select my bed, right click, select near my text here, and then I'm just going to zoom in. Here's my desk, and I think the other one was the closet. And once I have those in, all I have to do is double click, and it's just like any other text, Word document or something like that. Just use the back arrow. There's my closet. Oops, it's not the closet. Select that again. Let's actually type in desk this time, and then hit enter. And then if I want to move it, to see how it's kind of outside, I can go ahead and select it, right click, and move it a little bit more towards the middle. And then again, I'm going to double click my bed, double click the bed, hit my backspace, and this one is my closet. And same thing. I want to go to move, select my closet, and then just bring it over. And that is creating the dorm room. You can also play around with rearranging the dorm room or something of that nature for additional practice, or add some different additional items in the dorm room.